Hi everyone, and welcome back to Mecha Hack. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fraz, and I'm the game master for this game of Mecha Hack. It's been a while since you've seen mine and the faces of our intrepid pilots. And some things have changed since then. Primarily the fact that we've gone to a pre-recorded format. Now, you might be wondering why we decided to move to a pre-recorded format. Well, if I'm being completely honest, the main reason was for my mental health. While I dabble in some forms of content here and there, I am no longer a full-time content creator, and I have shifted gears to being a full-time community manager. When I felt myself starting to burn out again, I knew that I had to do something, and we had to change something up. So we decided to move to this new pre-recorded format, where we would record sessions offline and then post them as premieres. So, we've got plenty in the backlog, and we are so excited to bring Mecha Hack back to you in this new format. All of the links to all of the pilots, aka players, are down in the description below. I would very much appreciate it if all of you took a moment of your time to go and follow each and every one of them, because they are amazing, amazing content creators, and I truly believe in what they're doing, or else they wouldn't be sitting at my table. Without further ado, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into it. Thank you so much for watching.
Hi, I'm JDdotST, and I play Lightryder. You can find me on social media as JDdotST anywhere, and I am looking forward to experiencing this journey with you. This is my first TTRPG, so I'm learning as we go, having a blast, and really excited for you to take this journey with us. So let's have a great time.
Hey everyone, I'm MisterWisePork. I'm the wisest pork you know. You can find me over at twitch.tv/MisterWisePork. I'm currently the newest member to Mecha Hack. And to be honest with you, this is my first virtual tabletop RPG. So I'm extremely excited to be here and be part of the team. I play a character named
Darius,
or codename
Chimera.
I pilot a hybrid mech, which is both biological and mechanical, so it's a little best of both worlds. I come from a very mysterious past and part of a special program in which you'll find out later on in the series as we go. I'm very glad to have you all here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episodes.
Hey everyone, my name is Restabrooks. You can call me Restarian. Doesn't really matter. Same goes for everywhere on social media. Stream on Twitch right now. But for my character, I play the stoic Gray Hawkins, who is the captain of our fun little team. I pilot a striker class chassis, and my call sign is SABER0. Can't wait to see you there.
Hey guys, this is Theo with TheobaldsGaming. You can find me over at TheobaldsGaming on Twitch and Twitter. I play Ralph, who is a Quipster pilot piloting a Titan mech that is a hulking behemoth with way too much armor and armaments that looks like it pretty much got put together in a junk pile. Ralph is the big lovable oaf type character, always wants to do everything that's in the best interest for those around him, wants to really protect those around him. But when it's time to, just kick back, he's not one to shy away from cracking jokes and trying to get a chuckle out of people, sometimes even when it's maybe not the most appropriate.
Also, just because these sessions are pre-recorded does not mean that there will be any less shenanigans, because there will absolutely still be shenanigans.
Will you edit out
Big
when
facts.
I sound stupid?
No, absolutely not. No, it's just going to be raw from
Your
the
editor is still by
beginning
the hour
to
by
the
the job,
end.
because that's a lot of editing.
Yeah, it would be too much editing to take out every dumb thing that we say.
No, because then we would miss out on the fun out of context shenanigans, and that's half of what makes this fun.
I like
This week on Mecha Hack bloopers, just saying.
They are fun.
Exactly.
We're not
No, they make
it
makes fantastic YouTube short and TikTok content. I mean, what are you talking about?
This is true. All right, well, cool.
Okay, so you guys ready to get into this? It's been a while. Sorry.
Since I've gone and things have just Okay, I'm sorry.
You knew that was going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I encourage it.
Yeah.
I absolutely encourage it. It's fantastic.
Worst part
They
is I
had
know
a
what he's
great
doing, and I
guitar
can't
sound,
remember
though. The sound of their guitars,
Yeah.
they would put like 20 or 30 guitar parts together and just, it was huge chords, really cool stuff. I'll shut up now, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're totally good. I am enjoying every bit of this.
Oh wait, was that a Nickelback riff? It just hit my brain.
Probably. I
Yes,
don't
it
know.
was a Nickelback riff.
Okay.
But you owe me money back now.
Ooh, woo. I gave you money already.
Whoa.
You owe me a nickel. You owe me a nickel.
Okay, so previously on Mecha Hack, the remaining pilots of Unit 12 found themselves on board the Luminous Conduit. And I just lost my notes page. There it is. On a Cozen job. Here they met 3 other pilots. Chimera, the pilot of a hybrid mech. Callister, a scout for the Terran Outskirts Scout Regiment. And Ed, an Aeon pilot who seems to have some kind of link to Hawkins. Working together to achieve their own goals, they let loose a void maw that terrorized the ship, ejected the Lodium shipment, which was their quarry, and retrieved 3 Striker chassis mechs equipped with bleeding edge light sails. Their exit didn't go unnoticed, as Lightryder caused a large explosion in one of the ship's numerous hangar bays. As the 6 pilots followed their quarry down onto the surface of planet Elnax, swarms of diodes and Veriform Mecha were hot on their tail. Fending off these swarms until reinforcements arrived from the newly expanded Forward Scout Camp, the pilots of Unit 12 and their new allies were successful in their mission. All of the pilots were escorted back to the scout base on Elnax. Upon arrival, they see that what was once a simple Forward Scout Camp has grown to become a flourishing planet-side colony and has been dubbed Arcadia Station. As they disembarked from their mechs, Ed and Chimera were detained. Captain Hawkins, however, having connected with the Aeon Tech, seemed to be suffering some serious side effects and collapse upon disembarking from his stolen mech. Callister, your friend from the Terran Collective, it seems has gone back to Slipstar, the moon base where what remains of the Terrans is located. So, where we left off.
Should somebody call a medic for
Yeah, so I was gonna say,
Hawk over here?
Hawkins disembarks from his mech and within moments goes from being kind of dizzy, this ringing in your ears, and just black. And just collapses. All like the rest of you just see him kind of walk out of his mech, kind of just shake his head, and then crumple. Immediately, the rest of the scouts and the people who escorted you into the base kind of swarm around him, just to just with this confusion and very much like a flurry of movement. Eventually they figure out, okay, he needs medical attention, and they essentially
He's on the ground. Of course he needs medical treatment. What are you talking about?
They medevac him back to the ship is pretty much what happens. Because they don't have the capabilities here to give him the medical attention that he needs. So still unconscious, Hawkins is medevaced off planet and back onto the Nishimura. So while that's happening, Ed, Ed, our new Aeon friend, as well as Chimera, are both detained. Chimera, your mech is put into lockdown. So as soon as you guys, once you guys got onto the lift, essentially you were asked to disembark from your mech. nicely, but at gunpoint.
I'm sure it was very polite.
As nice as asking someone to do something at gunpoint can be. And so you are taken to be interrogated, essentially. And so we'll come back to you.
And Ralph is pretty much just walking down the stairs because he had to come in on foot.
Yeah. So you to the best of your abilities, you do manage to land the fighter jet outside, and someone else will come and make sure that it's taken care of. But it is just landed planet side. There's a big dust cloud as it lands, and you kind of walk into the lift with everyone else. So as you guys all are disembarking from the massive elevator, you see Ed and Darius being escorted to what you assume to be some kind of interrogation area, holding cells, whatever they have available here. Which this underground bunker is pretty expansive compared to the last time that you were here, and also they've uncovered more and more of it over time. So that is all.
We're not on the Nishimori.
No, you guys are planet side. You are planet side on.
None of this. Take that away. That we say that's on the ship. That's it's a ship-based interrogation.
Yes.
I don't know what they do down here.
Yeah. So you guys are back on, you're back in Arcadia Station, which is what originally was like just Planet Elnax's forward scout camp. It served as an Aeon bunker, but they have reclaimed it after the battle with all of the ion cannons and are essentially
How long have we been gone?
You guys, this has been taken care of over several months. So it's been no.
Hold on. I'm confused. Where are we? When are we?
When are you? You are approximately 3 months after the battle for Planet Elnax. You've had a significant amount of downtime activities as well as other missions that have just been kind of...
Right, but we're immediately following the events.
You're immediately following the events of last session.
Right,
yeah.
So we had our time skip before this last mission started.
Yes.
Thank you. But this is the first time we've been back to Elnax since all of that has happened, because we were on the Nishimori when I got you.
Yep.
Nishimura, whatever. I call it the Nishimori. It's like Bill Murray's cousin is who we really named it after, and Nishi, who everybody knows, fantastic comedian.
Yeah. Okay. So that just happened. So as you
what the hell is in this salad?
I don't know.
Different kind of lettuce right there. I don't know what it is.
You got into some of my salad, didn't you?
I don't know, but there's even some video distortion on the screen too. So it's some good salad.
Okay.
So as you disembark from the lift, the 3 Aeon mechs are taken to be disassembled, essentially. They are going to take the light sails off, likely will study and try to reverse engineer the technology, because this is the first time that they've had a full Aeon, like, in one piece mech at their disposal. So the light sail... Now they have 3, and the light sails. So,
hey, I just would like to point out that I want a light sail for mine because I brought one of these back in very good condition. So I think I just deserve just pointing that out. Okay, we're cool. The rest of the
Ralph
mech is
also crammed in with R.G. Borgman to make all this work here. So.
Quite honestly, the rest of the mech was kind of crap, really. So, like, they're not better than it's not better than what I currently have. Quite honestly, I think we can find some weaknesses in these things.
And as you have this conversation, they kind of take note of that, but they also are essentially...
Yeah, nobody ever listens to me.
Well,
I see how it is.
No,
Lightryder sees how it is.
Shh. Hush and listen for just a minute.
We still amped up from the fight. We just came out from space. This is crazy. Can I get a sandwich?
Scout leader, yes, you can get a sandwich. And so Scout leader Tabata, he comes up and he kind of has this conversation with you, and he says, well, more likely than not, what we're going to try and do, I forgot his accent there for a minute, so let me try that again. What we're going to try and do is basically reverse engineer these light sails so that we can give all of our mechs the ability to travel through the Verillion tunnels and maybe some extra fun doodads, because these are not what we were expecting. These are more than what we were expecting. So, well done, pilots, first of all. Your captain's gonna get his medical attention, and I'll make sure to give him my commendations when he's well enough to receive them. But for now, there is someone who needs to speak with you. Your former comrade, Cygnus, is in the R&D library with a report on the goop that you brought back. You might want to go and get a sit rep from him, because it's some interesting stuff he's working on in there.
So that stuff we found when we first went into the tunnels.
Yep, that would be the stuff. That
Been
goop,
wondering about that for months.
That goop and the sample that you got from he's been comparing the two of those and like kind of just working. I don't fucking understand any of that. Biology is not my forte. All right. He's done some kind of magic and has some stuff to share. So if you can understand anything that comes out of his mouth, you're more than welcome to go and have a chat with him, because it's Greek to me. So I'm going to go and deconstruct these light sails, and y'all have fun.
Thanks, Tex.
Oh, also your mechs are in the hangars. So whenever you guys are ready to go back to the ship, we'll arrange transport for you, and if something happens in between, Hawkins' mech is down here now too. It'll be fine. We'll work it out. It'll be fine. Anyway.
I mean, Romeo can basically be a forklift if it needs to. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. More likely than not, he's going to be coming back down here anyway. We'll arrange transport back and forth if we need to, but for now, I think that you guys are going to be pretty well stationed here for a little bit. I'm not really sure what the orders were not handed down to me. They're actually supposed to be handed down to Hawkins, because he's your CEO. This is complicated, y'all. I'm just gonna go and do what I do best, and that's deconstruct some shit. So the facility's yours. Make yourselves at home. If you need to get anywhere surface-wise, you can go talk to the Ryu twins. They're working security detail. So find V or Chiba, because frankly, she's way more easy to talk to. V just looks like she's gonna deck you any second. So talk to them. If you need to go surface, planet side, whatever y'all call it nowadays. Anyway, I'm gonna go tear some shit apart. Bye. And with that, he just kind of scurries off, without giving you a chance. Why do I hear
the little Stewie feet?
Yeah, he's just.
That's an odd one right there. At some point, Ralph, somebody's gonna have to explain the how that accent survived the last 3,000 years without evolution just getting rid of it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't mess with Texas.
Listen, it's one of the few accents I have in my repertoire. Okay, now listen.
That's like Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's not even Texan. That is not even Texan. This is like out
Midwest Southern.
It's Southern Mid. This is like Tennessee, Oklahoma. All right, this is like Arkansas. Yeah, no, this is like where my family's from. Okay, my daddy was born and raised in Humboldt, Tennessee. This is how half my family talks. All right, so. It's Bama. It's Bama.
I talk to people all over the country because of my job.
These noodles are better than the ones on the Nishimura.
Probably.
Anyway.
Future noodles not as good as present day noodles.
No, I doubt it.
But I think more important than our colleague's accent is once we talk to the captain, when things go sideways, I think we need a sergeant as well. We need to figure out what happens in the unforeseen circumstances.
I mean, there were 3 of us. 4 if you count the weird guy that I still don't know what we're doing with him. And the other weird guy, the even weirder guy. that I think is here on the planet? The one with the weird voice? And the mask and the... kind of smells funky? A little bit like he's peed in his suit too many times or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
The point is, they were looking for a command structure to disseminate information from. We will at some point have to figure out how that flows.
Who was the mechanic guy? He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't worry about it.
We will move on. It is fine. Don't
Ralph,
worry
you're thinking
about it
too much. You do the shooting. Let the rest of us do the thinking, bud.
Who was it that found the goo?
I don't even remember at this point. That was like a year ago in another dimension.
Let's go.
All right, 10-4. I got noodles. What do I care?
All right, so having procured...
I just imagine Lightriders just slurping and walking.
Just walking with, like, just cup noodle, just... Yeah, slurping it. Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. Yep.
There's a lot of cream.
Yep. It's cup fettuccine is what it is. It's
cup fettuccine.
Yeah, it's like the Smart House fettuccine. Do y'all remember that movie?
What's the rodent type of animal that's on this planet?
It's mostly lizards.
Thing. There's like a four-legged thing that kind of looks like a chicken lizard. Yeah,
well, it's like an iguana.
It's like a chicken duck woman head thing waiting in the bushes somewhere.
Oh my.
We are
something like that. So that's what's in here. It's not
even.
It's not chicken, but it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, it's like probably reptilian. They're not a lot of flora or fauna on the surface of at least this region of the planet. So the region that you've just explored, mostly. I mean, turtle tastes like chicken.
Turtle.
Turtles really good. Okay, anyway, so well, that's a story for another time. Snapping turtles are a problem.
I'm just eating noodles. Where are we heading?
Our session.
Having acquired sustenance and been briefed by Scout Leader Tabata, you make your way towards the R&D lab, which is where you find Cygnus. You also kind of over to the side, you see like this terminal that's been set up that has like several monitors, and there's just like files piled, like printed files and tablets strewn up. Paper. Which are not, they're not common on the Nishimura because of the paper commodity. So you assume that they're probably from the libraries here on this base. But there's also like data tablets kind of strewn about, and there's just this mountain of like basically just information piled around this tiny little figure who you can very easily pick out is Quinn. And he is passed out on a keyboard, just like drooling a little bit, and just you can tell he's fallen asleep trying to dig into whatever he's looking into here. So you kind of glance that off to the side and continue.
Hey, look, he's cute when he's asleep.
He's always cute.
So continuing past the library and into the lab proper, Cygnus is there waiting for you and kind of just in his typical posturing manner greets you.
Oh, joy.
Good to see you all again.
You turned off all the security, right?
No security here. No security here. I don't have any control over the... That's all the Ryu twins, and even I'm not ballsy enough to mess with them. So...
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
They terrify me. So... where's Hawkins?
He had to be evacuated back to the ship. He collapsed unexpectedly.
Shit. Okay. Well, I mean...
He's probably just dehydrated.
It happens. Well, I mean, I was kind of hoping he'd be here as well, but that's okay. You guys can pass the information along.
Lightryder's an ass.
As he
I'm
takes the
sorry.
drink.
Lightryder is just an ass. He's just become such an ass, and I don't like him much anymore sometimes. But at the
It's
same
fine.
time,
Well,
at the
Ralph
same
is
time,
also
we don't know
starting
what's
to be-
going on. He could just be dehydrated. Maybe he had to poop.
You
He
don't
didn't
know.
poop.
Yeah, you have no
We don't
idea.
know.
All that you know is just
I'm not
he
trying
crumbled.
to be mean. I just mean I think
you're
he's going to be okay. He probably just didn't eat. He never eats.
Well, Ralph's already slightly concerned that prior to any of the three who came back in the Aeon Strikers boarding a striker, Hawkins was fine. But Hawkins went down. Ed is fine. Lightryder is fine. So Ralph's already got this concern in the back of his head. What happened to Hawkins? And is it going to happen to anyone else that was in any of those three mechs?
Yeah.
But he's not saying it yet. So.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, Cygnus presents each of you a data pad so that you can kind of read along because he goes through this information at blazing speeds. But essentially
At
the
blazing speed. I want.
no, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't imitate Mosh. I just can't. He talks faster than anyone can keep up with, and even
So
I can't
fast.
do that.
Just imagine he's speaking so fast.
But it all comes out like this. You know what he's saying? It keeps going on.
So, essentially, the information boils down to this. The DNA of the goop and the sample that you retrieved from the drone that you fought in space, one, they are the same. The DNA samples, they are genetically the same.
The goop and the what?
The goop and the sample from the drone that you fought in space.
So these things are alive.
Yes.
Are they sentient or are they just organic circuitry?
I don't really know. Their DNA is actually structurally really similar to an octopus. But that's about where the similarities end.
I mean, from
So-
what I remember from some of it, some people consider octopi as being very close to sentient.
Yeah, but that's more based on their brain function and less on their DNA structure. Just this is like they're what's the word? Help me, guys. What are octopi? What are they called?
Cephalopod?
Cephalopod. Thank you. It's structurally similar to cephalopod DNA.
They're also food.
They are food. They're very tasty. And that's Fraz saying that.
Better be
If
better
we
than
beat
the
enough,
lizard.
we can feed Lightryder for a week. I got it.
I wouldn't suggest eating it though, because it is very poisonous. Like super, super poisonous.
Okay, maybe we don't feed Lightryder. Okay.
But it doesn't, like, you know how when you dissect a frog and you can like hook up the circuits to their nerve endings and the leg will still jump after it's dead? This
no,
doesn't
you
do that.
psychopath. What is wrong
You
with
never dissected a frog in anatomy class?
you? And hooked up the electrodes?
Yeah,
too?
the nerve
No,
endings
we didn't
still
do that on the
work.
Nishimori.
I
didn't do
think
that when I was
Penn's
growing
units
up
would
on the
have been a
Nishimori.
better analogy. Just electromuscular stimulation.
Zapping
Yeah.
them? Why would you do that?
Yeah, you just hook them up to a 9-volt battery and it boop, boop, boop.
Stop. So many details.
I've been trained my entire life to kill things and kill people, and even I think that that's wild.
To each their own. Study of biology and how things work is interesting to me. At any rate, so maybe organic circuitry. I'm not really sure because I don't exactly have a brain sample to study. So if you guys come across a void maw and can manage to harvest a brain, that'd be super dope and bring it back. But
Wait.
Yeah.
About that void maw.
yeah,
No. Wait. So this goo is also related to a void maw.
yeah, because the sample from, remember we got the piece of the tentacle from the drone, the void maw thingy that we fought in space,
That one. Okay.
and the goo. They're the same. They are genetically the same.
Well, we did kill a void maw earlier, and there's probably one floating around up in space right about now in with the wreckage that vented. I mean, that ship's gone right now, right?
If you can manage to actually retrieve it and if it hasn't burned up in atmosphere and you can get a brain that's not damaged, because a damaged brain isn't going to really tell me a lot. It'll tell me
so if it's
some.
been exposed to space, if it's been spaced, it's not going to help you any.
It's
Okay.
been if it's been spaced, it might be
If
damaged,
it's been
but
space, it could have been. I mean, the
Preserved.
vacuum.
but
and,
also we've observed them in space. Like
We also
we
had
know
one
that they
that
can live
impacted.
in space.
So
There were
then
two.
maybe we should send a retrieval team up there to get the Void Maw.
Yeah, I'll get Bon on that.
there's also
mean-
one that impacted the surface. May not be suitable for the brain scans.
It probably if it's made out of this same material, which if what I'm hypothesizing is correct, that all of the Void Maw are clones and genetically identical, then it burned up in atmosphere. Did you guys not make that connection?
No, we did. I did. I mean, I'm figuring that they've either got to be clones at this point, or they have to be some type of hive mind type of situation, where multiple of the different organisms, they're just like vestigial appendages until they.
Yeah, see, that's
are
getting
utilized.
way into the whole like brain side of things. I don't
I'm
really.
just saying how they're operating.
The goo portion.
Yeah.
How is the goo the same as the Void Maw?
But
How
it was
is it
also
the same?
similar to what was in some of these Aeon mechs, correct?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they're all the
Well-
same material.
What
Yeah.
worries me more is that they are harvesting Void Maw to make their mechs and circuitry.
I mean, you could easily use the mass of how huge we've seen these Void Maw get. That kind of biological mass could power a planet easily.
And
So-
who knows how many they've been able to capture and harvest and do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's concerning, but at the same time, like what we know of the Void Maw is that they're planet destroyers, system destroyers. They just all that they know how to do is consume. Now,
On their own.
again,
Not before being weaponized. I mean that makes it
well, see,
worse
that's
for
the
me.
thing is that I don't. Okay, all right. Now I did hear. Okay, before we go further into this conversation, I did hear a rumor that you brought back some Aeon mechs with you, and not
Three of us.
just 4, right? Because
Three.
you have one.
And a ship.
No, because you have
3
one
mechs
more,
and a
right?
ship.
This is Fraz saying this. You also have the hybrid mech from Chimera.
There is another mech, but it is not.
Oh, we got his
strictly
mech
Aeon.
too?
His
I
mech
didn't
is-
know we got his mech.
Yeah, he was asked to disembark at gunpoint to be detained,
Yeah,
and
I
his
just
mech
thought there were
is.
only. I didn't think he got back to his mech. I thought there were 3.
Yeah,
I thought we
because
took 3
Ralph and Darius were both crammed into the mech. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Darius's mech
Mhm.
Yep. And he also destroyed probably a good half of the swarm
Mhm.
when we were coming back.
Yeah.
With
So,
a giant freaking.
though. But how do we get
barf
3 of their
lasers.
mechs back? We only got
Ed.
2 of their mechs and his. Then.
Ed,
Oh, Ed brought one back, and he's now okay. Got it.
and he's
yeah.
I
detained
was
now
lost.
too. Yep. So,
It's like,
Cygnus.
how many mechs?
Cygnus is most interested in Darius's mech because he's like this whole area, the lab is also hooked into like the security area. Like it's all kind of central, excuse me, part of like the central information center, like here on like in the space, right? So access to cameras and things like that. And he would have seen
Basically the CIC.
yeah, essentially. So he would have seen Darius's mech coming in and like noticed immediately that it was not just mechanical. So he is very interested in that mech in particular. Which you guys would have noticed this as well, that Darius's mech is not just mechanical. There's
I wasn't paying
something
attention to that.
there's something
Different.
different.
Yeah.
Little
A little squishy.
add a little bit of spice. So he would have been Cygnus would have been most interested in that. Just based on
If
like
a
this
hybrid is already
conversation.
halfway to what he needs.
Yeah. So just having this conversation, he's like, you can see kind of the wheels turning in Cygnus's head and being like, weaponizing the Void Maw. what if they weren't just batteries? What if they actually found a way to make them weapons?
You mean growing mech?
Maybe less growing mech, and maybe what if they could just, like, domesticate it and shut down its, like, immediate attack response in some kind of way and find a way to interface with tech?
It is not a very comforting thought.
No, it's really not, but it is interesting.
Somebody's still supervising you, right? Just just
Yeah,
curious.
Dr. Sineo is
okay.
my direct supervisor. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The junior, not senior. Crazy old man can keep his crazy old man up on the ship. Which, as he says this, Dr. Sineo walks into the room with all of you, the younger one, who none of you have met yet. Actually, no, I think Ralph, no. Did you meet him?
No.
You didn't meet him. No, it was just Hawkins. Okay, so none of you have met Dr. Sineo yet. So this, let me pull up his character description again because it's been a while. Hello? There we go. So you see this kind of shorter, probably around like 5'5", 5'6", man with shock white hair and little spectacles that like just kind of sit on his nose with a large scar on the side of his face, dark beady eyes, and just kind of is hunched over, sallow face, and is just buried in like several data pads, and just kind of combing through a couple. Like he puts one over on the table, not paying any mind to any of you standing here, and just is kind of mumbling to himself as he walks in. And Cygnus is just like, speak of the devil, there's Dr. Sineo right there. And he kind of looks up from his data pad and is just like, what do you want? Like looking at Cygnus, like what could you possibly want now? Like you can tell that for someone who is just very like takes his job very seriously and just has efficiency and productivity top of the mind, just you can tell by his stature, and probably spends a lot of time at his desk based on how hunched he is for as young as he looks. He's very just over it with Cygnus at this point.
Ralph's probably just going to look at Cygnus and shake his head and just go, in his own mind, he's being demanding, I guarantee it.
So Cygnus basically fills in Dr. Sineo on the entire conversation that you guys just had, and Sineo just kind of, that is interesting. That is very, and like this, like just creepy grin just comes across his face of, like, and he's just like, we could find a way to do that for ourselves. Yeah.
Lightryder. Yeah. Just between you and I think we might have to tell somebody that these two need some ethics training.
Hey, listen, you know what I think about Cygnus. And so, like, I don't know. These scientists and doctors, I don't pay any attention to them. We do all the real work around here. They just get to play around in their little labs all day. Never risking a thing, so it's whatever it is.
He also,
I'm eating my noodles.
Once he gets also the report on that Hawkins got medevaced, he insists on inspecting both of your neural ports before you guys leave the room. So, at your convenience, whichever one of you wants to go first.
Well, I was not in one of these mechs, so I do not know what you would get from inspecting myself other than a control.
You were in the fighter though, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
I would still like to just go ahead and just make sure everything's clear. It's not an invasive procedure. I'm just gonna hook a diode up to the back to the processor and make sure that everything is clear and nothing funky's going on.
Very well. I might as well go first.
Okay. So he escorts you into God, microphones and hand motions do not mix, guys. So he escorts you into a smaller room off to the side of the lab, where they have like just a bunch of medical equipment, essentially. It's not anything like, I mean, this looks like where they'd get your vitals in an ER. So like there's a blood pressure cuff and like a thermometer and stuff like that. But there's also what looks like an EEG machine. And so he just kind of, it's like a little like claw type mechanism. It's not like the Matrix where they're gonna fucking plug you in or some ish like that. Yeah. This is external. The claw. Now your mechs do that. Your mechs matrix you, but this is external. So he just kind of just clamps on to the neural import on the back of your neck, and it just brings up like some readings on a computer. None of it makes sense to you at all, but it's... And
Ralph
he just
gets an idea in his head to mess with Lightryder while he's in there. Hey, Doc, play along.
Hey, Doc, you got cold hands. Watch it.
You're an idiot, Ralph.
He just kind of shakes his head and's like, do that on your own time. I have work to do. This is just a convenience. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to lose any more pilots today, because that is the last thing that I need to deal with right now. You're clear. Send the next one in.
All right.
All right, I'm fine with this. I like, at this point, I'm so used to this type of stuff, I could care less.
Yeah. He hooks you up. Again, computer reads out. Everything looks fine, and he sends you on your way. It's like, okay. Yeah, just... take it easy for the rest of the day, all of you. Again, I can't afford to lose any more pilots today. It's just, no. Today is not the day that I want to deal with this. I've had too much fucking, and he's just ranting as he's walking off at this point, like about having too much paperwork to deal with, and these freaking Ryu twins, and Unit 4 is just a pain in his ass. And he's just like, and now they're sending in these young bloods to replace him, and I am just so sick of all of these changes and blah, 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 blah. And he just continues to walk away until you can no longer understand anything that he's saying.
He really complains a lot, doesn't he, Ralph?
He seemed fun.
So, as you go back into the lab, Cygnus is still there, and he just says, do you guys know where they're keeping the mechs that you brought with you?
No idea. We were separated from everything when we came in.
Okay, well, I know where your mechs are at, so maybe let's just walk and see if they're in either that hangar or the one next to it.
I mean, it's been a while since we've been down here. Is there any secure hangar that is generally off limits?
I don't have the clearance for that kind of information.
I mean, probably.
I mean, wouldn't they call you if they wanted you on it, Cygnus?
Probably.
Yeah, so then no. Like, why are we going to waste our time helping you figure out where... If they want you on it, they'll want you on it.
Jeez, okay. Fine.
I'll just be
curious on my own. Damn, okay, fine, whatever.
That's much preferred.
No, that's fine. You guys find your own damn way to your mechs. See you later. Get the fuck out of my lab.
Lightryder, if
take care, Cygnus.
If Cygnus found out something else, we might get all the new toys before anyone else does.
I don't care. I can't stand that guy. He's an idiot.
Didn't he make your weapons better? You know.
So. Any scientist can do that. Any of them can, and none of the rest of them have the.
Yeah, but we had crazy requests, and he did it.
I don't care. I don't like the guy. I don't trust him. He's not trustworthy. He's disrespectful to the chain of command. He acts like he knows things that he doesn't know. I just don't like the guy. You know,
okay.
and I don't need to like the guy. I don't have any reason to like the guy. He didn't do one redeeming thing for me. Ever.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done with my noodles too.
You were quieter when you had the noodles.
Should we go get something to drink? I mean, we really have nothing to do until we find out what's going on with Hawkins. I mean, we can go check on Hawkins, but I don't think they're going to let us go to the ship.
I'm actually quite
Pretty sure we're
curious
stuck
about our new
planet-side.
friend that came with us. I wonder if we can pay a visit and see
What to do with the weird voice? Smokes too much or whatever? Yeah.
Why don't we go find our new friend?
All right, I got nothing better to do.
Okay.
So
I'll tag along for the ride.
So whatever we need to do to kind of, whoever we need to talk to, find out where Darius is, or if we can wander in, like, and just...
Not hard at all to do.
Sorry, Fraz.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, Fraz. Lightryder can't stand that mother...
No, why are you sorry? It's great.
Can't stand that.
No, this is fantastic.
Get me away from that one.
Not
it
at
wasn't
all.
you. I don't like.
No,
I don't
you're,
like
you're fine. You are totally fine.
She's like, dang it! I had 2 hours of content right there. Off. I had this whole thing, and I ruined it. I'm like, screw you.
I did not. No, you're
okay,
fine.
good.
You're fine. This is.
Fully expected this, to be honest.
I literally have bullet points for this session, like for notes. This is very like open-ended for all of you guys. So, it is not difficult at all to find the persons that you need to find to ask where Darius might be contained, as the Ryu twins are chilling on a wall as you exit the R&D department.
And it shouldn't be, right? Because we're pretty much badasses down here. Like, we're very high ranked. Like, everybody's going to be deferent to us. Like,
also,
there's not really much that we
the
can't
Ryu
do
twins, from the context clues that you've been given between Tabata and the mumblings of Dr. Suneo, you can kind of infer that they're probably head of security at this point.
Yeah.
And they are
they're their own
and they dig us. We're cool.
They're waiting for you as you exit the lab, knowing where you
they're
were.
Probably as bored as we are.
You can definitely tell that V is ready to freaking blow off some steam. She's so over this shit. Chiba is her usual reserved self. She's just kind of following her sister along. But they do kind of fill you in on the situation here at Arcadia Station, basically saying that most of the people who are here are scientists, researchers, people who are trying to, there are a few architects, obviously a lot of engineers, mechanics, things of that nature. But they are actually starting to bring some civilians down to Arcadia Station. So this is going to evolve into eventually a full-fledged colony. Yes, exactly. So
can we protect this place?
That's why there's a SABER unit here.
Oh, that's why we're here.
That's why there's now two, kind of two SABER
you
units
put us
here.
With y'all, and we're kind of a one and a half,
wasn't their
right?
unit also diminished? So like together
well,
right now,
at this point,
one.
at this point though, Saber Danger has recovered from the battle. It's been several months.
Honestly, kind of the coolest of all of the SABER names right there.
So he has recovered, as well as they've. It's an interesting situation. So Unit 4 is one of the few remaining SABER units that is still whole. Most of the other units have kind of either merged or have been lost. They also fill you in on the fact that Chiba specifically, just says, but she as they're talking about, our unit's been placed in charge of security. But I don't think we're going to be here for much longer. Unit 13 is supposed to come and take our place. And I think that we're going to be on mission in the interior. We're supposed to be scouting, gathering intel, and getting supplies. We've managed to make contact with a couple of split factions from both the Neo-Dominion and the Terran Collective. In fact, I think that you guys met some of them, the Terran Outskirts Scouts, TOS, Doku.
Yeah. Listen, there was a lot going on, okay?
There
Void
was.
Maw, explosions, running,
Well,
screaming. There was crazy things happening.
There was one other that escaped with us, but he disappeared shortly after.
That would be Doku. So he and his regiment are actually based on Slipstar, which is not very far from here. But it's closer to the interior, and it's the closest thing that we have to a viable space station here. So our goal is to work with them, as well as whoever these true Neos are. That's part of our job, is to figure out who they are exactly, because they've been feeding us intel for a while now. That's the only reason that we knew about the light sails and had the intel that we needed to send you guys on this Cozen job that you just went on. And we're successful, by the way. Well done, by the way.
These Neo defectors, they call themselves the true Neos.
Well, they're not, we don't think that they're exactly defectors. More of, it's kind of culty. It's almost like...
So they have factions. They are not united.
Yeah, from what we understand, a lot of the Neo Dominion back in the day either came with the Terrans on the siege ships. So a lot of the people on the Nishimura are actually originally Neos and Terrans. It's kind of like that was kind of like our peacetime treaty type thing a long time ago.
Neo Terran.
Yeah.
That's their name, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the ones that stayed in Lodestar Alpha were descendants of the original rulers. So, I don't know how much history you guys remember, but the Neo Dominion was originally the rulers.
Lightryder yawns,
yeah,
and his eyes start to glaze over.
And V kind of comes over to you, and she's just like, I know, right? She does not ever stop lecturing me about history and how it's important, and oh my god, I just wish she would shut up.
Over with already. Oh my god. Like, what's the short version of it?
So Chiba is just like, well, okay, so since everybody seems so intrigued with this topic of discussion, essentially the Neos were the original true rulers of Lodestar Alpha. It was a whole thing. There was a war and blah, blah, blah. Apparently that's not important to any of you. And these true Neos believe that they are descendants of the Lost Prince. So there were two princes originally, and one died.
How about that now?
One died? Question mark. But essentially one was lost, the other one died in battle, definitely. And during the last stand of Fort Husqvarna, which I believe that you all, according to the reports that I've read, witnessed when you went through the Varillion. You did.
Partially.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
kind of. It was
the big fortress in space. Before,
big fortress in space, giant Aeon ships came through, wrecked everything. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
and that's when Mama Void Maul came on and we ran like little babies.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that was nuts. Okay. So essentially these true Neos believe that they are the descendants of the Lost Prince.
Oh god.
Of the Neo Dominion.
Oh great.
So it is very culty, but they're feeding us helpful information, and so far everything that they've given us has checked out. So I'm not really sure what their means or motives are, but if we have allies in the interior, that's huge for us. And hopefully we can start fighting back against the Aeons. And with the technology that you guys just brought us, that might actually be possible.
I mean, as long as everybody shares a common goal, that's what matters in the
my biggest concern is enemy is my friend. That's my biggest concern. I just want to know what their motives are. Why would they think that? Why would they give us the information? A lot of the Neo Dominion works with the Aeons now in the interior. So
when two princes kneel before you, you know what I mean? What do you do?
Yeah. But that's the situation. So our job is to figure out who they are, what their motives are,
Thank you,
and
Bacon. I
hopefully...
really appreciate it.
I didn't get the reference, Chad.
I've been holding it in, but I couldn't.
I didn't look at his screen, so I don't know.
That's what I said now.
I didn't get the reference, but that's okay. We're moving on. She basically says, you know, our goal is to scout, figure out the motives of these true Neos, and gather as many supplies and allies as we can, and bring them back here, and back to the Nishimura as well. Kind of just spreading the wealth where they can. So between Slipstar, Arcadia Station, and the Nishimura. So now you have at least 2 places that we have to keep supplied and fed, which it looks like there's a greenhouse here. So self-sustaining is a thing that's happening. Yeah. So
as long as we also have industrial capability for repair and maintenance, then this
which they have in the bunker. Yeah, that's the entirety of this bunker, is just very industrial and R&D, essentially.
That's what I said now.
So, meanwhile, while all of this is happening, and they'll give you like a tour of the whole facility at this point, including the surface side.
I was supposed to see the weird guy from the other the other place.
Yeah. They'll give you a tour as you're kind of
fun.
walking and talking. And as all of this is happening, Darius and Ed have been escorted to their separate holding cells. Just for brevity's sake, I'm not gonna like narrate the whole interrogation process with Ed, because I'm not gonna narrate 2 NPCs interrogating each other. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
There's no probing?
No probing. No probing. So Ed is pretty forthcoming with his intel, because he just he doesn't want to be part of this anymore. He's just like, whatever information that you want from me that I can give you to trust me and let me stay here and not send me back there, I will give it to you. So basically what Ed gives you, or what Ed gives the R&D team, essentially, is a full description of what's known as the Lattice Network. So, the Lattice... Go ahead.
This is a different network than the other network that the sales will get us through. This is not the Verillion network.
Verillion tunnels are different than the Lattice.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Which she was just about to explain.
Yep.
Well, I know, but I was
no, you're
just
fine. It's all
I was
good.
making sure I wasn't getting confused.
It's all good.
Before she even started to explain, because that would be even worse.
All good. So, the Lattice Network is what enables the Aeonic Primacy's greatest strategic asset: instantaneous data transfer. This network functions like a hive mind, allowing the Aeons to instantly alert allies to danger, coordinate attacks, and react with lightning speed and accuracy.
See, they are a hive mind.
We were talking about we're talking about the Aeons, not the Void Maw. So let's just...
Right, but the Aeons and the Void Maw have the same DNA.
No, they don't.
No.
No, the goo that you found in the cave.
You said we found stuff in the Aeon's ship that was the same material.
Yes. That's being used as a power source.
But the Aeons are definitely not that.
The Aeons are human.
Material.
The Aeons are human.
I mean, who do you think we found on the ship? It was people piloting the mechs. You piloted the mech. Aeons are people.
So just to make the distinction, Void Maw, when you think Void Maw, think kaiju. Okay?
JD's confused. It's fine. Keep going.
That's why I'm trying to make the distinction. Aeons are human, but what you know of them is they're human, but they're also more than human. You don't really know more than that.
Like
right
their
now.
Tech is way more advanced.
Their tech is more advanced. their physique is different. Yeah. From what you saw of the people on the ship, they are definitely human beings.
Okay.
So, but the goo that you found was in a cave that was on a glassed Aeon planet, essentially. It was on a planet that didn't have a surface, it didn't have an atmosphere. It was entirely made up of like cybernetics. It was a machine world, basically. But the goo was what was like flowing through essentially the lifelines of the planet and like giving the planet like the cybernetic, like making the machine work essentially.
Okay.
And also when you destroyed the Aeon mech in the simulation, it's throwing me off that you don't have your face cam on.
It leaked all kinds of goo.
Yeah, it leaked goo that was the same color. So you can infer that it's the same thing. But now you know that the goo that is likely being used to power some of the larger, more advanced Aeon mechanics is genetically the same as that of the Void Maw that you fought.
And not just specially, like, down to the chromosome identical.
Yeah. Okay. So, long story short, from what you understand and what you've put together at this point,
I
the
just
Aeons...
got confused by why was there goo inside the Aeon's mechs, and what does that have to do with
because they're using it as a
Void
power
Maw,
source. They're using it as a power source, from what you can understand.
It's a goo battery.
It's a bio battery.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a minute to let your brain stop hurting.
It's fine. I don't know how an animal needs a biobat. I don't get why the Void Maw, which is an animal.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just move along. I don't understand it. It's cool.
It's
I mean,
okay.
I
don't have to understand it.
Something to the power.
It's one of those things where we're getting focused on something that may not even be relevant, and it doesn't.
It's relevant.
Need to understand.
I promise you, it's relevant.
Okay. Well, Lightryder doesn't get it.
This is me, the GM, telling you that it's relevant.
I know, but I'm just saying this is past what Lightryder would want to understand. He doesn't care about this stuff. So
that's fine.
It's basically, think of it like
Ralph
a potato battery.
Deceptively high intelligence stat, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I do. It just doesn't. It's not. It doesn't. I don't. It.
Think of it like a potato battery, like where a biological thing can power something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but on a much larger scale.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, back to the Lattice Network, because that's a whole different thing. Which is also relevant and important. So, yes, the Aeons, essentially, the Lattice allows them to function like a hive mind. So the Lattice does rely, and this is the big thing, because we've kind of known that the Aeons, because of their response time and everything else that you've seen of them so far, you could pretty much infer a lot of this information. But the big thing that Ed gives you that nobody knew was that the Lattice relies on strategically placed nodes called hubs in order to maintain its system-wide range and link the minds of nearby Aeons to receive and transmit data. So, with that said, that essentially gave you a weak point to deal with. Because if you can take out...
Do we have a way to find them?
Mm-hmm.
The nodes?
Yeah, you have Ed, who's very willing to give up this information.
But,
seems like either a trap or a very foolhardy weakness on their part.
But while
we can take out their whole communications network with.
Yeah, they're not easy to find.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to find out. But he knows where they are.
But he knows where they are. Correct.
So while Ralph
if he's not leading us into a trap, I might add, we have absolutely no reason to trust him.
Well, while Ralph loves to blow things up, I mean, who doesn't? But wouldn't it be smarter to try to use this information to compromise their network, to eavesdrop?
Which is another thing. So basically, the R&D team, when they're given this information, one, they give Ed they put Ed under house arrest, essentially. They give him an ankle bracelet and put him under the direct supervision of Chiba and V, who have enough on their fucking plates already, but here they have to babysit. So you're going to be hearing a lot of complaining from them.
Why do I have the image of these two using him like a whipping boy?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000% that is happening. But Ed is confined to Arcadia Station. That's it. He's planet side. That's it. He does not leave the station. He does not leave the colony, and he is under direct supervision of someone at all times. And he has he has an ankle bracelet, essentially. So, high tech house arrest. But essentially the information gives R&D 2 ideas. One is to start forming counterintelligence, and to utilize, because right now their only link to the Lattice is Ed, and eventually Darius when we get there, but right now we're focusing on Ed. So Ed is the only one who has access to this information, and it is hardwired into his brain. Let's just get that out of the way as well, because it's built into his neural port. So the Lattice is not like just comms, right? Like how you guys are used to having like short range communication. It's not a walkie-talkie. It's not a device. The information quite literally is hardwired into their brain. And this can come through the connection to a mech, but it also, as long as there is a hub within range, they are able to receive and transmit data wirelessly, essentially.
And this is all information he freely shared.
This is all information that he freely shared. Yes.
Did he give any type of indication that it can be used for covert surveillance or to manipulate behavior of pilots and other people connected?
He does not have that information. He doesn't know if it can be used to manipulate people. He's never seen it done before. So if he was being used, he wouldn't even know it. Correct.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not even something that comes to mind for him. This is just...
Well, it's something...
Yeah, but it's something they would have asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is something they would have asked, and he was just like, oh. Ed is,
Still
Ed's
an
smart.
unknown quantity.
Ed's smart, but also he wasn't exactly the brains of the group. So.
Does he offer any hint what would have happened to Hawkins?
Do you want to go and find him and ask him?
Do we want to do that, JD? Or do we want to keep hunting for Darius?
Okay. Yeah, okay. If you guys find him and ask him if he has any idea what might have happened to Hawkins.
I mean, what's the command structure here? Like, who's in charge? Like, who's giving the orders? Do none of us know?
I think it's probably basically departmentalized right now.
You two are kind of
security.
Yeah, you two are kind of like essentially right now the Ryu twins are your
handed to us.
Well, the Ryu twins are essentially your direct supervisors right now. The director is up on the ship. But there's not really much like command structure outside of Director Akira hands down orders to captains and commanders of each squad, which for Unit 4, the Ryu twins share that responsibility.
Okay.
So you are essentially your direct report right now would be to them. But they're kind of giving you free time.
We don't really have anything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's not any direct orders for you right now. You don't have like a mission lined up. This is kind of all just your free time right now. So you guys can do whatever you see fit and whatever you think would benefit your squad and the mission as a whole. You're given free reign. So.
Do we want to kind of wander as a pair and talk to either Ed or Darius, whoever we run into first? Or do we want to try to split this task up where one could talk to Ed, one could talk to Darius?
Well, let's go together. It'll be. I mean, neither. I don't feel like getting lost on this dumb planet.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll leave it up to Fraz, whichever one we encounter first.
Probably Ed, because at this point his interrogation is finished. He's out on house arrest and just kind of walking the perimeter, with Chiba and V, kind of babysitting him. So, if you approach him and ask him what he thinks potentially could have happened to Hawkins, he will tell you that he believes that Hawkins's Lattice connection has come back online. And he just says, look, if Hawkins hasn't told you everything about his past, it's not my place to tell you. That's questions that you've got to have for him. But I can tell you that we've known each other for a long time.
So you said back online, though. How much of a problem does this pose?
Well, if his brain didn't short circuit and kill him, not really a huge one.
I mean, is there anybody we can
I mean, it's a
contact?
hive mind. It works both ways, right? Like, they know I'm here. They know he's there. If his connection came back online, they know where we are.
Wait. You said here, there. Can they locate with this?
Well, it's not exactly like you guys have made yourselves a secret.
Not understandable, but still.
But yeah, I mean, if there's a hub within range, which there is one because I can get information. But the thing about it is what's their priority? Probably not 2 pilots. They have plenty more, and they train more and more every day.
Can you be forcibly blocked out of the Lattice?
Yeah. I mean, they can take your connection offline, but typically when they do that, they don't do that, typically. But if and when they do, it's a...
That is a big problem.
Big night-night.
Along with another...
Now, there are ways to disrupt the connection. There are ways to temporarily disable it, which I'm assuming is what Hawkins did. But it's temporary and risky as hell. Like, really risky.
Then you need to tell our medical staff immediately.
I don't know how to do it. I have no idea. I don't know how the hell he did it. The only thing I can think of is that he shoved a flathead screwdriver into the back of his neck and hoped. Because I know he didn't know how to do it either. Neither of us have medical training. We're pilots. We're fighters. We've been trained to fight since we were 6.
Well, at least he wasn't wearing a tinfoil hat or anything.
True. Listen, all I know is that Hawkins is a hell of a lot smarter than I am, but neither of us had any kind of medical training. And he was still breathing when he fell down. So
I still think we need to tell the medical staff about this Lattice so they can...
Well, I mean, I just told the... Where the hell? Okay, well, he's gone now, so I'm assuming that he went to talk to the other guy that we brought with us.
That was funny.
I don't know any of you people. I don't know any of the people here. I am very out of my depth. I gave you the information that I had. I'm starving. I haven't eaten. I don't need to eat as often as you guys do, but I haven't eaten in like 2 weeks. And I'm really hungry.
2 weeks? 2 hours. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, we're
20
minutes. How do I put this? How do I explain this? You know how Darwin theory.
You use your words?
Yeah, well, okay, listen, smartasses, I don't know science, okay? But basically Darwin theory accelerated. We're just, like, our entire race is just more advanced. Like, we're still human, but, like, we don't need to eat as often. We don't need to sleep as often.
How come we still have monkeys? I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
Not the place.
But do we?
But well, no,
But
because
do
we
we?
probably ate them all. Because that's why all I have to eat is lizard.
I mean, look, I don't.
We get it.
Yeah, it's complicated, but I don't need to eat or sleep as much as you guys do. My heart rate is lower. Like, our circadian rhythm works differently. Our brains work differently. But like we're still human. Like, genetically, on a DNA level, we're like Homo sapien, human. But like, our muscles develop differently. Everything is just more advanced, I guess, is the best way that I can explain it. I don't know how they do it. That's way above my pay grade. And well, it's completely out of my pay grade now because I don't work for them anymore.
Yeah, who do you
I
work
really
for,
didn't.
and what are you
I
doing?
really didn't think this through. I just wanted out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll let Hawkins fill you in. Ask him why he left. Ask him why he left, and you'll probably begin to understand why I wanted out.
Pretty sure he's unconscious.
Well, if and when he wakes up, and if he doesn't, then you can come ask me. But I'm pretty sure getting the story direct from the source, from someone that you at least trusted up until today, is probably gonna be worth more than it is coming from me. So, there's that. Is there a place that I can go and punch some shit around here? Because I
don't know, we just got here.
Got so much anxiety that I just need to deal with, and the only way I know how to do that is by hitting things.
If you want to hit things, go tell the big one out there, V, that you think she's pretty, and I'm sure you'll get all the hitting you want.
I'll bet B would spar with you, though, if you wanted a good workout. You could probably go get your ass handed to you by her.
Well, first of all, wrong team. Second of all, yeah. I'll spar.
No, I didn't mean like that. I literally mean she is going to beat the ever-loving hell out of you.
No, but I meant the complimenting part. Never mind. Anyway, I
didn't say you have to mean it, just, you know.
Clearly, I didn't like Ed very much because I don't remember him.
You did have some interesting words to say about Ed.
You were sour about Ed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only character Lightryder doesn't really hate right now is Ralph.
Not true. Not true.
Not true at all.
Not at all true.
This is a 45-minute PowerPoint
he has
presentation
questions about
coming up.
Hawkins now, though. I mean,
yeah, there was
no. He's never had any respect for Hawkins as a leader, but he doesn't mind him as a person. Like, he just thinks he's.
There was
like,
a lot of trust issues that were talked about last session about like, well, if because of the fact that Hawkins and Ed know each other. Like, from the past, right? And so, like, I remember there being, like, a lot of questions in Lightryder's head of, like, well, how the fuck do they know each other? Who is Hawkins now?
What?
Like, was a whole thing.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ed the character that Eureka was playing?
No.
See, that's why I'm confused.
Eureka was playing Callister.
He gone.
Yeah.
He gone.
I know
Eureka was
that.
playing Callister.
I know that. But,
yeah.
Okay. I don't remember Ed.
That's okay. It's all good. It happens.
I don't remember.
It's all good. It happens. It's fine. At any rate, the conversation...
I don't know why we brought some rando back with us, and I didn't argue about it.
Because you needed another person to pilot the mech who knew how to pilot the mech.
All right.
And he had a way out.
And he had a way out, and he escorted you to the mechs. He knew where they were.
He had a lot going for him.
Mm-hmm.
The more I don't like this guy at all. He's totally screwing it. He's a plant. How is this guy walking around free? He's got to be hella
He's not free.
He's got to be.
He's the farthest from free.
Because I mean, we find him on the ship and then he leads us to the mechs and then he just surprisingly wants to be on our team all of a sudden. He's a turncoat and we trust him. I don't know.
Whether or not you trust him is up to you, but his motives he's made very clear. He just wanted out. He just wanted out.
Which also tells us something about the enemy, that they are not whole by any means. They are fractured, and that is an exploitative weakness.
But again, he tells you to get he tells you, like, you know, hey, maybe you ought to ask Hawkins about this story because it coming from me is not going to mean jack shit. Which has been made clear by this entire conversation. And at this point, he
I mean, I barely know he exists.
Exactly. So at this point,
Even though
he
you're staring at his face.
walks off and is with.
You know what? No, I don't think I was even there for any of that.
Yeah,
I think
you
I
were.
was on. No, I went off on my own
I
on the
know.
other ship.
I know, but then you caught, like, Hawkins and Ralph caught up to you.
Yeah, we all ended up in the same.
When
You
we
guys were
had
all
our
in the
kickoff
same
fight.
ship. Yeah.
All right.
That was after Darius
Remember
came
when you
and saved
yanked
your
my
life.
hose?
Yeah.
Again, this is why notes are important, JD.
Even if I had notes, it wouldn't make you.
He wouldn't read them.
Yeah, but
no, it wouldn't make sense to me.
He
Well,
doesn't read
you
his
also
DMs.
can
My brain doesn't
rewatch the
work
VOD. You can also rewatch the VOD.
I just didn't know I missed a whole character.
Yeah, you missed a whole character, apparently.
Whole A character, yeah.
At any rate, so Ed and V go to spar, and that's gonna be a whole thing.
All right, well, I told it. Okay.
So,
I'm expecting a lot of black eyes and laughing
Yeah.
at some point.
at this point, if anybody needs a break, do we need a break? Let's just take a quick like 5. Quick 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a 5 then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm not going anywhere. I'm fine here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not going anywhere either, but I will. Hello everyone! Make sure to stick around after the premiere is over because in addition to moving to a pre-recorded format, we are now also able to do a live after show, and we're calling it the Debrief. This is where we can interact with you on screen and on camera and answer any questions or just chat about the experiences that we've had in the session, and we would love to have you stick around for that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your continued support. We are so excited to bring Mecha Hack back to you.
Privy to the information.
I'm gonna
We're
switch
in
back
the
over
know
to
at
the
this
thing, just to this because this is information that probably people are gonna like want to know, like with the recording. So I'm just letting you guys know that I'm switching back over. So, we were talking about the command structure and how there basically isn't one. That's because you guys are like SEAL teams, essentially. So you have direct reports, which is Director Akita. You guys don't really have, and your commander, like your squad commander, right? Which is
Okay.
Hawkins. So
Yeah.
at this point, like you're not necessarily out of commission, but you've temporarily been decommissioned because you are no longer an operating unit right now.
We're down to 2 out
You're
of
down to 2
5.
out of 5.
Supposed to be a unit. Suck my unit.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So the other section of the military, which is just like regular mech pilots and like essentially when you might maybe need them, foot soldiers, like just like they have a separate chain of command that's more organized and more structured. Your guys' chain of command is quite literally the director, your individual team commander, and that's it. And if
And on
there's
top of that, we probably have like top level security clearances for
Yeah.
the most part.
Oh, yeah.
There's very little that's not given to us.
Not necessarily top level security clearance.
always gonna be-
Hawkins has higher security clearance than the rest of you just because of
Be the boss.
reasons. Well, other reasons as well.
Yeah, not just that, I don't think.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Because of reasons.
Yeah. So, there's just little nuances and things like that, but most of the command structure is very much just simply you report to your commander reports to the director. And that's it. You get your orders directly from Director Akita. She disseminates those orders to Hawkins, and that's your orders. There is no like hierarchy of unit structure. Like any units that are like above you in numeric order don't have command over you. The only time that is necessarily true would be if you're running a joint op, where it's like, okay, well, these 2 SABER units or these 3 SABER units are running this operation together. This unit has seniority. Does that make more sense?
It depends on who's attached to what unit for what operation. So.
Exactly.
Makes a lot more sense, yes.
Okay. I am sorry that was confusing beforehand, but hopefully it's a little bit more...
Well, and we're not on the ship.
You're not on the ship.
That
This
messed
is-
me up too, knowing what we...
Yeah, and this is also all brand new for everyone, right? So this is the first, like, in-system colony that you guys are starting to build. On a planet that you guys helped to liberate from Aeon control. So, I mean, all of this, everything that's happening right now is possible because of directly because of the actions that you guys have taken. Now, there are still a lot of things that are left up
So we're getting
to
a lot
question.
more leeway than
You guys are
anybody else
getting a
would
lot more
because-
leeway. Yeah. Like anyone who's a SABER.
We already get leeway, right? Because we're already kind of badasses, and then our group is kind of a badass of the badasses.
Again, also because of the fact that you're SABERs, that comes with a huge amount of, like, again, you guys are basically SEAL Team 6, right? Like, of this entire universe. Now, there
but
have
it's
been...
not a secret.
Yeah, but it's not a secret.
It's not we don't have to keep our identity. Everybody knows that we're SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Imagine, here's a better description.
And as good looking as we all are, on top of it.
You guys are...
Calm down.
You guys are blue team.
Got it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you think about it that way.
Which one's Caboose? Wait.
No, not blue team from Red versus Blue. Blue team as in Chief's squad.
Wait, Master Chief? Oh,
Yeah.
My bad.
So, okay. With all of that little bit of nuance and lore and story, kind of.
Can we go talk to this prisoner guy?
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
really love to find out.
So, Chimera, Darius. First of all, the first question that I'm going to ask you when they ask you to provide your name for the record, what name do you provide them?
The only name you need to know. Chimera.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so they escort you from the lift, taking
So much.
taking your mech to be studied, They do make the promise that they will not deconstruct anything and they will leave it in working condition, but they are essentially confiscating it for their own purposes, whatever that be. You are taken to a Holden. You are taken. That was the first time that I've had that all night. Damn it!
You're doing great.
I was doing so good. I was doing so good, and then I Freudian slipped. Fuck. Anyway,
BB, we need that sound for Fraz. Get her to reset.
Even just thinking about it just fucking sends me.
There we go.
Okay, so you are taken to a holding cell. It's not exactly a labyrinth here. You're taken out of the elevator, down a hallway, a few turns, and there's like essentially just a conference room that they have. The door is
about it.
Yeah, they've like reinforced the door and they've installed like some better glass, but it's like they're not prepared for prisoners.
Table and chairs kind of thing.
Yeah, table and chair. It's like a typical, like if you've seen NCIS, like their interrogation room. Yeah. Right. It's a table and 2 chairs. That's about it.
Wait, which NCIS?
The OG one.
Sorry. Yeah.
Just NCIS.
The old school one.
Like season 1. All right.
The one with Wilmer Valderrama.
The one where you only learn one of Gibbs's rules.
Hilarious.
So, they sit you down. It's not like you're not like handcuffed or anything like that. They know you're not gonna go anywhere. You're not gonna go anywhere. Because where are you gonna go? It's a desert and you don't have your mech right now.
Right.
So they feel pretty secure as far as like, you know, they don't feel the need to like cuff you or anything like that. So it's just a walk to the interrogation room. Which is hilarious in and of itself because you walk by several like of these mechanics that and like just young-blooded scouts that are under the command of Scout Leader Tabata. And most of them are engineers/scouts. So a lot of them kind of give you less of like gawking and more of just very curious glances, like looking at how your suit works and the helmet and all of that. They're like trying to like dissect you with their eyes. Like, how does that work? How is that, like, what? And like a couple of them like just start following. And eventually you kind of develop this procession behind you of like these younger scouts that are just like kind of giving you the eye, and like the lead, like not the lead scout but the one who is escorting you, he turns around and he's just like, don't you all have work to do? Get
Just after he says that, I want to stop and like quickly just kind of glance over my shoulder with a and my tubing and any lights kind of like flicker to red quickly, but fade just as quick as.
Yeah, and they have like almost the exact opposite reaction of what you're expecting. They are less scared of you, more scared of their boss. But like when you do that and the lights like flare up, they like go from like, oh, I actually do need to get back to work and I don't want to deal with his wrath. They immediately are just like, oh, but this is so cool.
I was actually going to say you should do that. I'm so glad you did.
So they pause for a moment, and the guy who's escorting you, which I need to give him a name. Let me just do that real quick. Let me just give him a name here. Oh, cool. That's great. I have no names in that tab. Love that. Okay, we're going to name him Brayden. First of all, don't name your kid Brayden. God damn it.
Apparently Brayden taps out when he eats anything blue.
Which is bullshit, by the way. Blueberries are fucking purple. Sorry, I'm so
Blue
glad that
means it's got
someone else.
sharks in it.
I'm so glad that someone else understands Randy Feltface and gets that reference. That makes me so happy. Okay,
JD's
so
like, what?
yeah, JD's completely lost. It's fine.
Me too. I'm with you, bud.
JD's
I'm with
frozen?
you.
Question mark? Oh no, his eyes moved. Okay, I'm just like, oh my god.
Just listening.
That's the most still
There's a
I've ever
question
seen
mark,
him sit.
but that's not what. Yeah.
Okay, so Braden kind of turns back around, like, and sees all of these people just collectively fangirling over you, and is just like, none of you are getting holiday pay if you don't get back to work right now. Go on. You can investigate later. I have work to do, you have work to get. And like one of them is just like kind of like peeking back around the corner, and he's like, I will stick Scout Leader Tabata on your ass if you don't get back to work right now. And they're just like, and just run off at this point. So apparently, clearly everyone fears the wrath of Bon Tabata, the Bama Scout Leader. So
Just gonna look over at Braden and just kind of give him a nod.
Well done.
it's my job to keep these hooligans in line. No, there's no freaking respect around here, I swear. Anyway,
It's
and
just
he
a good
kinda-
thing that he doesn't have blue lights.
he yeah, Braden would just be tapped out, just so Braden opens a door and escorts you inside, kind of just with a flourish, like just waiting for you to enter first. Is that necessary to do right next to my house? Freaking hillbillies. Anyway, so he comes in, sits down, and asks you for your name for the record. You tell him Chimera. Bleh. Basically, this is less of an interrogation and more of just a list of demands for saying, like, look, we'll let you we do not have the security and or the people or the manpower to deal with 2 people, let alone just one. And clearly you've not resisted anything at this point. How cooperative are you feeling? Like, be honest with me. Scale of 1 to 10.
Depends on what's needed.
That is not a number.
Playing like good cop over here.
Well,
There are limitations to my cooperability.
noted. So, here's the thing. What I want to basically I want to know what your motives are. Are you just trying to, I mean, obviously if you're like an enemy, I'm going to have to, execute you on sight. But
Good luck with that. Many have tried. And I'm still here.
that is a lot more threatening than I was expecting it to be. Okay, well, listen, I'm just trying to do my job. I don't want to have to execute anybody. It's really not my forte. I'm a terrible shot. So basically what they want to do is they want to study your mech. That's the main thing. 'Cause it's not like anything we've seen ever. Ever. And I do not have the kind of clearance to know any of the secretive bullshit that they do back up on the Nishimura. I know that there's like cloak and dagger shit that's going on up there, but it's a way above my pay grade. So that's the first thing. The other thing is the unit that you came in with. Yeah, they're gonna be your babysitters, your boss, your comrades, whatever the hell your relationship is with them at this point. That's kind of it, really. I don't know how agreeable you are to that.
Darius just kind of sits there in silence, turning knobs, kind of getting hosing kind of put together, not really paying attention. But turns and looks at Braden.
If you want information, if you want to know what my mech is made of, you get me Hawkins, and we'll talk.
Well, he's kind of indisposed right now, so I can't exactly give... I mean, I can't, like, just... I can't exactly let you up on the shit. You understand that, right?
I understand what's happened to Hawkins. I'm aware that he's online.
Braden has no intelligence about the Lattice, so when you say he's online, he's just like, what?
Right.
Right.
You have gone from speaking a language that I understand to words that I understand with no comprehension behind it.
Then maybe you should get someone that does understand and get them here now.
So is that a no?
And just stares blankly at you, blinking.
I don't know how much like pull I have to actually give you Hawkins. I can't like just give him to you. I can have him like brought back down here when if he's conscious again. I mean, it's not like I'm just gonna be like, yeah, here's Hawkins, like one of our most important people on, yeah, no. I can't just give him to you. I can give you a forum to speak with him.
And his team.
Well, I mean, you've already met his team, so you kind of came in with them. That's all that's left of them. The other two are stationed here now.
Well, bring me whoever is in Hawkins' team to discuss further proceedings.
I gotta be in the room when that happens.
You can be wherever you please.
Jesus.
Okay.
So sassy.
Yes.
Damn WisePork. Okay, go on.
So sassy.
It's so fantastic. I love it. I love this character so much. Okay.
Hey, give him to you.
So, at this point, Ralph, Lightryder, you guys have kind of been meandering looking for Darius. And Chiba is just like, well, I saw a convoy going this way, so I'm assuming that he's probably in this room. And Darius, as you're making this demand, you hear knock, knock, knock on the door as Chiba knocks on the door.
Before the door opens, Lightryder, don't go pulling on any hoses in public this time.
10-4.
So Braden gets up from the table and is like, well, what the? This is either a Deus Ex Machina coming to save me from whatever this is, or I'm about to get fired. So... And he just stands up, opens the door, and he's like, oh my god, Chiba. And, like, sees you two, and he's like, I'm not getting fired! And he lets you do it.
You okay there, little guy?
Yeah, I'm good now. Come on in. I don't have extra chairs, so you're gonna have to stand. Actually, no, you can have my chair. I'll stand.
Ralph's just gonna, like, kind of gesture to Lightryder for the chair.
Whoever wants a chair, there is a chair sitting there across the table from Darius. If either of you want the chair, Braden has now moved from the chair to the corner of the room, and he's just like, this is fantastic because he wanted to talk to you two. Chimera, you already know who they are, but this is This is Hawkins's team.
All right. Well, if Lightryder's not going to sit, then Ralph's just going to, like, he offered you the chair. You just shook your head. Oh. Ralph's going to sit in the chair, like, obviously making it look a little smaller than it should. Just kind of lean over the table with this maybe, like, little unsettlingly friendly smile. Just... So, what is it that we have here this time?
I'm just still sitting there, like, tweaking things on my mechanical parts. I'm gonna look up at him.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an odd way of thanking someone for saving your, for lack of a better word, bacon.
Why, WisePork? Why?
I had to.
Oh my god, trying to make this a good thing, and he just...
Shameless plug.
That's fantastic.
Back to the thing. Don't get me wrong, I am grateful. But you must understand, we don't know you yet. But we're willing to talk, share, compromise. If you are.
On the contrary, I think you know my type more than you think you know.
It is hard to tell behind that helmet and mask.
Well, unfortunately, this is part of me. It's been part of me for years. It is who I am. I am it, and it is I. But the problem is not me. There's an issue with Hawkins that you need to know.
Well,
All right, so what's the issue with Hawkins?
What he said.
I'm connected to a certain network
Are you
called the
talking about...
Lattice.
And
So is Hawkins.
This much you know.
When we landed, I felt and heard him reattach.
This much we've been able to figure out. So the question is, are you in a position to help him?
You've helped me. I'll help you.
I mean, it's not really us that needs help. It's Hawkins that needs help.
He's
At least
helping
you
us
say he
by
needs your
helping
help.
him. That's the plan. That's the implication here.
He needs your help more than he needs my help. But
What does he need our help for? We're not doctors.
you obviously don't understand the threat that comes with this.
Well, perhaps instead of speaking in the longest form riddle possible, you could just day Junior and spit it out instead of making us all wonder like it's a freaking murder mystery. Either help us or don't. See, on where I'm from, we got this saying. We got a saying. It goes, or get off the pot. So, like, either put up or shut up, Buttercup. Let's go. What you got?
Well, there's a certain degree that I don't know of Hawkins' past. I only know that he's come onto the Lattice, and I know what trouble that brings.
And what
Okay.
trouble exactly does that bring?
It's a connection.
We
Almost
know this-
even like a tracking beam. Or tracking
Remember the
beacon.
part where I said no riddles? Tell it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Explain it. There's a network. Hawkins is
5-year-old, but he is.
Hold. No, it's just I'm saying Hawkins reconnected to a network, meaning that he used to be connected to it at some point previous and unbeknownst to any of us. So
Correct.
now you're saying he was disconnected at some point from said network. Whatever. What did you say it was? Chiral
Correct.
network? What is it? What did you call it?
Lattice.
Lattice Network. Lattice Network.
All right.
Sorry. Okay. Lattice Network, not Chiral Net. Got it. Okay, so Lattice Network. So, okay, so he's now reconnected to the Lattice Network. That's fine. And then you ominously are like, oh, it's a bad thing. Okay, why is it a bad thing?
Let him tell us.
I'm trying. It's taking him 30 minutes to get one thing. I just want to know, is Hawkins going to die? And if so, like, can we stop that from happening?
Hawkins' vitals. I'm unaware of those.
Okay, but you're somehow
on the
you're
other end of this string that we call the lattice is the aeons.
We know this much. Let us make this.
We don't know any of this, Theo. I mean, Ralph. No, we don't. We don't know that.
We talked to Ed.
We did hear what Ed had to say, but Ed didn't say that that our guy was connected to the same network. We didn't know.
Yes, he did.
We didn't know the Aeons were connected to that network.
Yes, we did.
Ed is an Aeon.
I quit.
That's all, folks.
I quit. Lord of the Rings makes more sense. Hold on, like is less confusing. What are you doing to my brain here? Hold on.
We went over this when we came back from like.
Ed is an Aeon. Ed gave you
I understand.
the information.
I get that. What I'm saying is, how the F does this dude know that? And why is nobody questioning the fact that he knows that? That's what I'm saying. How does he know all of this? And you keep saying that we already know this. We don't know how he knows this.
That's not the point how he knows it right now. The point is that he's talking about an imminent threat, so we're trying to get past the
I want to know how he knows before I consider even thinking about what the hell his information is. You don't know where this guy comes from.
Are you asking?
Here's the point.
I'm trying to, but he keeps coming all like you remember
the
caterpillar.
Time
He's
out.
like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland.
Shush! All of you. Okay. So, just so that we're clear, Ed gave you information about the lattice. Ed is an Aeon. Ed told you that Hawkins' connection came back online. Okay, let's restart. Let's go back to the scene where let's let Mr. Wisepork finish his thing in character. Let him have a moment to explain what's going on. And then Lightryder can interrupt all of it he wants.
He's trying.
Yeah, let just
I got you.
Just woo-saw for just a moment and let Chimera talk.
I understand this is confusing. But myself, I am a defected Aeon. I have the connection to the lattice. I was part of a very specific program. I've learned a lot of my traits in killing and tactical war through that. I've done things that I never wish to be done to anyone. But that being said, I have this connection. I am aware of the things that happen upon the lattice. And him coming online is one. Think of it as a bunch of strings connected to one person or one thing. And when that certain end of the string comes online, it pulls, and attention is brought to it. Therefore, that vibration, that pull, has caused a threat to come towards us.
So, we have another Aeon here. He helped us escape. You just met him on the ship. He has told us as much so far. However, he, for some reason, does not believe this to be as big a threat because there are so many connections in this local hub that he believes that it may be overlooked. Why do you think otherwise?
Because some connections are more specific than others. Trust me, they've been looking for me for a long time.
And you are suggesting they are looking for Captain?
Correct.
At this
point,
point,
tell us? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Just really quick, as you guys are having this conversation, Braden kind of being the one who sat in and disseminated the information from Ed before all of this happened. or he got the information from the other interrogator who was kind of chatting with Ed while you guys were talking to Cygnus and all of that. He kind of pauses for a moment. And didn't the other guy have a history with Hawkins? I'm understanding that right? And he's kind of looking back and forth between Ralph and Lightryder at this point. Okay.
They did seem to know each other. We do not know why, other than I believe they were at least seemed to be part of the same unit at some point, which I know we all want to ask Hawkins about when he recovers.
Well, I'm curious if, because they once shared a stronger connection, if that's why he didn't notice more of this pulling sensation mumbo jumbo that you're talking about. Am I completely off base here? I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know.
That could quite be possible.
But if he's the only one who didn't really think whatever my question, I guess my question at this point is why you have such a vested interest in one of our captains.
It's more of a question of why they are so invested in your captain.
You keep saying they, don't you mean you?
I am no longer Aeon. I no longer follow their ways. I no longer listen to their orders. They are not me. I am Chimera. That is all.
How does that work? How do you defect from something like that? If you're constantly plugged in, connected, how... I have so many questions.
There are ways. Very risky. There are ways.
But you seem to know what they are. Precisely.
Or at least he wants us to think he does.
I am much more advanced in that tech. I have add-ons, as you can see. It makes things easier in my sense. More mechanical, more cold and calculated. But as for Hawkins, it does not have that. Therefore you see what the Lattice can do to one that tries to do such things as disconnecting.
So Ralph's going to kind of look back and forth between Braden and Hawkins before he says, or not Hawkins, Lightryder, kind of judge how they're taking the info from Chimera here.
Braden is just like, he has like a data pad that he's just been like writing everything down on. Because this is, again, like this is scientist stuff. And Braden is like smart because he's an engineer, he's a scout, but he's not equipped to deal with this caliber of information. This is something that he's probably going to be presenting to the research and development lab.
I was born and bred to kill Aeons. Only Aeon I trust is a dead one, so I don't believe a thing that this guy says. I can't. It goes against everything that I'm... And well, his story and Ed's story and all of this stuff is very convenient. They both ended up there. It's very convenient that one of them knows Hawkins. I don't know. I already don't trust Hawkins. The whole thing is hinky to me and smells like some sort of... It could be a trap. It could be a Trojan horse type of situation. It could... I mean, like, legitimately... To me, my freaking, not me, but like, you know, me, Lightryder, me, like he sees this as like, this could be an infiltration event. And now we've got one of them that's, you know, they're saying he's reconnected to some stuff. Well, for all we know, he's a Manchurian candidate. Like he could be a ticking time bomb ready to go off. Well, like, we can't trust Hawkins at all. And it kind of makes sense to Lightryder, because I'm sitting here going, you know, quite honestly, I've always thought he was kind of a lackluster leader, that his heart really wasn't in the fight in a lot of situations. And like his leadership when we needed to be decisive was kind of, so like, I don't know. You want to know what I'm thinking, Ralph? I'm thinking that, I don't know. I wish we had some more people to bounce this off of, because I don't know that, I certainly know that you're not qualified to make this type of call, and I don't think I am either.
No, I am not qualified, but the director is. We can talk to the director. Maybe if we...
I mean, do you trust this guy?
No, but he did save my life. That does say something.
Yeah, I mean, did he? Or was it just coincidence? Did they make it look like he saved your life so
he
that we would trust him?
Me in the vacuum of space. I had
yeah, but
no
then
option.
we wouldn't trust him at all.
So,
No,
what I am
you
saying
survived.
is, what I am saying is, we give the information to the director. Maybe suggest that when Hawkins is recovered and well enough, in a remote setting, away from any infrastructure, not on board ship, maybe they can arrange a meeting to talk under armed supervision.
I think more than anything, we need to figure out what this connection is and come in between, separate Hawkins from it as quick as possible.
There are hubs. There are points that the network reaches to amplify signal.
Yeah, actually, that I have heard about. I did read that briefing.
That is something that may help.
And this Ed character seems to think that he knows where they are.
They could be found. I've seen a few. I can help.
You should write a book of poetry, I swear to goodness.
I think if we will start with a simple sign of trust. If you let our engineers examine your mech, help them with their understanding some of these systems and how you are able to integrate things, then I will take information back to our director and see if we can arrange a meeting. Anything else after that, the director can negotiate with you directly.
I'm actually really, really proud of you there, Ralph. Good job, bud. That was actually exactly what I was going to do. All right. We can do this.
If
Ralph
this
has
is an
big
act
brain. It's all
of
right.
truth, of trust, if this is an act of trust that you need, I will allow it. But understand, that mech is connected to me, and I to it. So, you're essentially tinkering with me, and that could be a problem.
As long as you tell people where to poke and not to poke, and you're honest, I do not foresee an issue.
Braden
If I
kind
can
of
oversee it.
Yeah, Braden like just kind of like when you said that, like when you said the bit about tinkering with the mech is basically tinkering with me, he kind of just stops taking notes for a moment, puts it down, and is like, interesting.
I'm assuming that you've survived this long because you have a way to hide yourself, right?
Correct.
Can you hide Hawkins, or does he have to hide himself?
One usually has to hide themselves.
Can
That's
you
why we
show
need to get to a hub. Disconnect the hub. And we
Give
can
him
reach
some
Hawkins.
time. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And
All right, so we need to go to the director and we need to go take out a hub. That is something that I can actually do.
Braden, when you said as long as I can oversee the investigation, Braden does give you his word that will be arranged. He said, look, we just want to understand it. We're not going to take anything apart. If this is a sign of trust, then you have my word as, well, third in command, as far as that stretches. But you have my word that nothing will come to harm for you or your mech. We just want to understand the technology. We don't want to destroy anything, especially if it could be of aid to us.
I understand your search for knowledge, but understand time is of the essence, and we do not have a lot of it.
Well, we can arrange for pretty immediate transport for these two to get up back on ship and talk to the director and get that whole process kick-started. So, and then while we're investigating that, I'm assuming that our other prisoner person is going to be given information as far as where the closest hub is, and that's something that, again, the director's going to have to coordinate. Look, this is all way above my pay grade.
Mine too.
I'm
Ralph,
an engineer.
this is where you say yours too.
Ralph is getting hungry, actually. That's sorry, my mind wandered.
Well, sounds about. I told you to get some noodles earlier with me. I don't understand what you have. They're not bad here.
Well,
If it's all fair to you, I'd like to see my mech.
absolutely. I'll escort you to it.
All right, I guess we're going to see the director.
Yeah, and he kind of knocks on the door, and Chiba enters, and he tells Chiba to go and take you two to see Scout Leader Tabata, who will arrange transport from Arcadia Station to the Nishimura. So, and that's easy enough to do. No problems. So, just for the sake of brevity, we'll say that that gets taken care of. Braden escorts Darius to your mech. And while that's happening, you guys head up to the Nishimura. So, real quick, Darius, is there anything that you want to do with your mech, or anything that you want to do while you're here on Arcadia Station?
Immediately upon seeing my mech, I would just go directly to it, ignoring any and everyone around.
Mm-hmm.
As I get closer to it, the mech almost lights up to my presence, activating lights, noises, mechanical, and I just kind of, yeah, just do a quick look over, making sure that nothing seems to be damaged, tinkered with, or anything of such.
You can tell just on approach to it that the engineers who are kind of working on the other mechs, they're pretty preoccupied with those. They don't want to mess with the technology that they don't understand at risk of hurting themselves. So they are messing with
the nerds. They don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only so many fucking engineers available. So if one of them dies, like that's
blow up the hangar bay, please.
Well, yeah, and like they have the light sails that they have to deal with first. Like that's priority number one for them right now.
Right.
They were, from what you can tell, there's a lot of them that are like kind of getting sidetracked with their work and just gawking at your mech, but most of them are giving it a very wide berth and just trying to focus on the work at hand that they know they can handle and deal with. And
Braden's still with me, I assume.
Braden is still with you. Yeah, he is your escort. So, okay. And you get a fun little ankle bracelet too. So
yay, ankle bracelet. It beeps and it blinks like me.
Yep.
I'm sure I sent a little communique to what's her name. Hey, keep an eye on him. We don't really know about this one.
Yeah, Chiba.
She's probably watching him like a hawk, I would bet.
Chiba is keeping her distance. Chiba is the more reserved of the two twins, but she is definitely. You can feel the prickle on the back of your neck of someone with a very intense presence keeping an eye on you.
So. I walk over, almost standing in front of the mech and kind of next to Braden, I would assume, who would be still kind of standing between me and her. Mm-hmm. And I stand back towards her, looking at the mech, and I kind of reach my arm over, just kind of bracing Braden backwards a little bit. And you can see that tubing and lighting kind of intensifies, mm-hmm. and the mech reacts the same way. but getting into a position and opening up panels and almost like a service maintenance mode, right?
Mhm.
And then kind of look over my shoulder at Chiba, and just kind of giving a quick glare and back to my mech and look at Braden.
She glares
Do what
with.
you
She
must.
meets your intensity with her glare.
Nice.
She's reserved, but she means business.
Right.
So.
Right.
And you are.
Why is Pork so freaking hardcore?
I know, right? It's fucking awesome. And as the mech kind of like the ports and like things start to open and disengage, you see like just outside of the noise that the mech makes, the whir of machinery, welding, all of that just comes to a complete halt as everyone in this hangar bay turns and looks at this new mech just in awe. And you feel the collective air leave the room as everyone seems to be holding their breath, just staring. And then Braden kind of turns around. He's just like, "What are y'all doing? Get back to work!" And work resumes, and about 3 or 4 of the engineers, Braden leaves you in the custody of Chiba for a minute and goes and selects individuals to come and look at your mech. And so about 3 or 4 engineers, scrawny, young, and just bright-eyed, basically kids. I mean, most of these folks can't be any older than late teens, early 20s. They are fresh out of the academy, filled with creative ideas, and are ready to tackle this project. But they do so under your direct supervision, under Braden's direct supervision, and are sure to maintain communication with you to make sure that they don't fuck anything up.
Right.
So, while that's happening, Lightryder and Ralph, you guys are headed back up to the Nishimura. Transport, pretty quick, pretty simple. It's basically just a dropship. Just a space shuttle. Nothing fancy. So, do you guys want to keep going? We've been going for about 2.5 hours. Do we want to go for a little bit longer, or do we want to call it there?
Unfortunately for my time zone.
Okay.
A little late.
Yeah, it is late for our Canadians.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
As much as I want to, I'm just,
I think this is a natural stopping point anyway.
Yep, yeah, I agree.
It's a good break.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But I also think it's a freaking awesome session.
Yeah, I was vibing with that.
All right, so we will leave it with Darius's mech, Chimera's mech being investigated, and Ralph and Lightryder heading back up to the Nishimura to disseminate information and get more answers.
Going home.
Going home. Yeah, going home and having met with past comrades as well, and at least seen.
Lightryder does not like being anywhere but the Nishimura or in its mech.
Mm-hmm.
Does not feel right. It hates it on land.
Yeah. So, by the way, all 3 of you, so all of your mechs are on Arcadia Station currently.
Right.
So this is definitely a short-term. It's a short-term field trip.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So, yeah. But that is where we will go ahead and end for the evening then.
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for all of this. This feels so weird not having a live audience while we're doing this.
Right.
And recording it, but I feel like we were able to focus in a lot more too, which is really nice. So
yeah,
I can't wait for the first premiere.